Okay, so we're diving deep into SEO today, looking at the core advantages based on what you've sent over. We're going to really try to figure out like why it matters, going a bit beyond just the technical stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be really helpful, sort of pulling out those key takeaways that'll help us understand why SEO really gives you that edge
Yeah.
online.
Right, exactly. So one thing that jumped out at me was this idea of uh, high user intent, right?
Right.
Like it's not just any website visitor.
Right. You're not just kind of casting this wide net and hoping that somebody comes across your site, randomly. When someone's searching for like best noise canceling headphones, they are actively looking for that thing.
They want to buy them.
Yeah, exactly. They're much closer to making a purchase than someone like scrolling through their Facebook feed, right? And maybe seeing an ad for headphones. The
Yeah.
sources you sent over, they highlighted studies that showed conversion rates were way higher, sometimes almost double.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it makes sense. Like that searcher is already halfway to a decision. They're actively searching for it.
Right. Now, something else that was interesting is just this sheer volume of searches, right? Like we're talking billions of searches happening on Google every single day. What does that even mean for like the average person?
It's almost hard to wrap your head around that number, but what's fascinating is that all that search data, it's basically like this constant, real-time pulse on what people actually want and need.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and by, really looking at the keywords they're using, you can actually glean insights that apply not just to your SEO, but to your entire marketing strategy.
It's like giant market research being done for you every day just by people searching.
Exactly. It reveals, the language your customers use. It shows you the problems they're trying to solve. It's incredibly valuable.
That's awesome. And another big advantage mentioned is free organic clicks. And by organic click, I just want to clarify, we're talking about those results that show up naturally in search, not the ads at the top.
Exactly. The organic listings. And yeah, while SEO takes time, takes effort to get it right, those clicks, they don't cost you anything per visit, unlike those paid ads.
So you're not like paying every time someone clicks on your link, which makes sense.
Exactly. And that actually allows you to, be a bit more broad with your keyword targeting, even those high volume keywords that might be too expensive for pay-per-click campaigns, you can still rank for them organically.
So it's more of like a long-term investment in your visibility.
Yeah, exactly. A long-term play.
And speaking of long-term, the material talks about the lasting impact of SEO. What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's like building a solid foundation for your online presence, right? When you put consistent effort into SEO, your website's authority gradually increases over time.
So the more you do it, the better it gets.
In a way, yeah. As you start ranking higher for those relevant searches, you get more visibility, more traffic, and it becomes more and more sustainable. It's not just a flash in the pan. It leads to ongoing benefits that just keep building even over years.
That's pretty cool. Like planting a tree versus putting up a flyer.
Oh,
One just keeps giving back.
a great analogy.
Now, another thing that was interesting is how SEO actually helps your other marketing efforts.
Oh, definitely. Often when you're optimizing your site for search engines, you're also making it more user-friendly and accessible for everyone, no matter how they find you.
Makes sense.
It's a win-win. Plus, by using the same language your customers use in their searches, you're making the entire user experience smoother. Even things like your press releases. If they're SEO friendly, they'll reach a wider audience.
That's all connected.
It really is. And, one key point the sources highlighted was that most clicks, they actually go to those organic results, not those paid ads, which honestly kind of surprised me.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, it makes sense, right? Like people are more likely to trust those organic results,
Yeah.
those that haven't been paid for.
Definitely. And that just underscores how important a strong SEO strategy really is if you want to reach that larger audience. Ideally, you'd want to be strong in both, paid and organic, but that organic reach, it's definitely nothing to sneeze at.
No, for sure. All right, so last thing, let's talk about building online authority. What exactly is that? It sounds like more than just ranking high.
Yeah, it is. Think about it this way. When your website consistently shows up at the top of search results, especially for your own brand name and your main keywords, it builds trust with potential customers. They see you as a leader, as someone who knows what they're talking about.
It's like you become the go-to source for whatever it is that you do.
Right. If someone searches for your brand and sees you right there at the top, they're more likely to click on your link. It builds credibility, establishes you as a real voice in your industry.
Got it. So to kind of wrap this all up, it sounds like SEO gives us a few key things.
Mhm.
High intent traffic, valuable insights into what users want, free organic clicks, long-term growth, support for other marketing, access to most of the clicks happening online, enhanced online authority, and broader visibility.
You got it. All really powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but it's really making me think differently about how I approach my online presence.
And that's the key takeaway, right? How can we use these advantages to connect with our audience on a deeper level and really build something that lasts?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. Food for thought.